Hey, welcome to another edition of the Get Made podcast. I am extremely happy today. It's going to be a series of interviews that's going to come about that I am most grateful to Almighty to be able to do and to be able to have because I'm going to have some dynamic people. And I'm starting with, oh my God, this young man here. Been knowing this young man. We've been knowing each other since we were kids.
Yes.
All right, so we were kids. He's always been a clean guy, right? I always try to follow his footsteps of him and his brother. But he's a man in his own right. He doesn't follow in behind anybody's footsteps. I'd like to introduce you to my man, Tarnace Watkins, Stephen Tarnace Watkins. We call him Tarnace, so y'all might see me come in and out of that. But
Yeah.
please, Tarnace, give him your name and your real handles if you don't mind.
Oh goodness. Well, first of all, thanks, man, for inviting me here today. I'm Tarnace Watkins. Hassan and I we've known each other, gosh, 40 plus years,
Yes.
if not longer.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's seen me snotty and short and coming up from the streets and we've been blessed to watch each other grow like roses in concrete. I am a professional. My professional accolades, stem all the way from 8 years in the United States Navy and graduating from the Naval Technical Academy. Um, and also, I was a banker for 15 and a half years and studied American Institute of Banking as well as Villanova University, and then also I am a nearly 21-year pastor in the Christian church, and yeah, I think March of 2025 will be 21 years for me,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm grateful to also lead over here a congregation with my lead pastor, the Reverend Dr. Charles A. Harper, and myself. We lead a ministry over here in the Bankhead community, a legacy church of about, now we're going on 160 years next year. And a Paradise Baptist Church. And so I'm extremely excited. I'm a married man of almost 26 years. Next month, my wife and I have been married 26 years. I can't believe she's been coming home that long, but she has.
She knows she got a heck of a man to come home to, bro.
I don't know
For real.
why she keeps coming home for that long, but she has. I have three beautiful children, two boys. TJ, who just turned 33 yesterday,
Mhm.
and then I have my middle son Miles and my beautiful daughter Morgan, and then I got two dogs, Rio and Riley, who are riots at our home and keep us young. And I have a grandson, Seneca Trace. Um,
Mhm.
and so he's actually at my house now. Went and
Mhm.
picked him up yesterday to give his father some time off and his mother, and so we were with him this weekend and having a ball with him. So
Nothing like
yeah,
grandparent. Nothing like being a grandparent. And
nothing like being a
you can pick
grandparent.
them up and take them back. Man, I know
Yes, yes. Monday he will be back with his parents. Absolutely.
it.
But no, man, this is a need and honor, to be with you and to share some. Hopefully, be able to enlighten and share the audience today,
Mhm.
and just have a really good conversation about something that's truly important, but often overlooked, which is Black men. You
Mhm.
know, everyone
Mhm.
being talked about. There's something for everyone, but there's no place for Black men to rest their heads.
Mhm.
uh, Heavy is the head that wears the
That's the
crown,
crown.
and
Exactly.
we wear a lot of crowns, and our
Mhm.
head is heavy, and our journey is a weary journey,
Mhm.
um, and it's an underappreciated role that God has given us. But we make it look good, man. You look
Mhm.
great.
Oh
I look
man.
how I look,
No, you.
but
Oh, and I know I can't see it. Though you shining all through my eyes, bro. I know you looking good
you,
over there.
you look great, man. And but listen, we carry our weight well,
Mhm.
and we carry it well. And I'm grateful to enter into this conversation with you today. and hopefully we can bless some brothers, man, and let them know that one, you're not only seen, you're heard, and you are appreciated.
For
And
sure.
this conversation is for our brothers. So
For sure. Thanks, man. So, on the Get Made podcast, we have some questions that we ask each guest. And then from the third question, we pivot over into the interview and the conversation. So, first question, give a book that you have been inspired by, preferably one that was either written by a Black man or a man.
oh man, so I mean, I've read so many. I would say the one that I really um, enjoy is Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been a very valuable book that I have carried in my heart and continue to learn from even today. Though
Mm-hmm.
I find myself reading that book possibly probably every 2 years just to refresh some of the thoughts and
Mm-hmm.
some of the concepts around this book. But I can tell you that it has really shaped my life,
Mm-hmm.
and it continues to shape my life today. And I
Mm-hmm.
use it a lot of the content to help teach and help enlighten other brothers as well.
Okay. Now, next question.
Yeah.
What man that you know personally that who has inspired you in manhood?
See, that's a tough one, man. You can't just say one. I was blessed to be around a community of great Black men.
Mm.
And so I'm gonna take a little tour around before I answer your question
Okay.
directly, if you don't mind.
Okay.
If I
Go
can
ahead.
develop it a
For
bit.
sure. Because
Uh,
because even in that, Tarnace, I'm gonna be honest with you, I want our readers, I mean our listeners to hear this because a lot of us have not had the opportunity of truly identifying a community of Black men. Right. So yeah, by all means, let's go. Let's take this journey.
okay, so as you very well know, I was raised in a town just outside of Atlanta, Rome, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's where we met.
That's
That's
mm-hmm.
that's how we grew up,
Mm-hmm.
and so I will say to you, as a man, as I reflect often on this
Mm-hmm.
question, I was truly blessed to be around some of the most extraordinary Black men that one could ever experience.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I had an extraordinary Black father.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He is still the GOAT. And my father passed away in 2010. I was my father's pastor, and I eulogized my father, but my father was one of the most extraordinary men I ever met. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that first of all, I had the best example in my house.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
but beyond my home, my next door neighbor, Mr. Sam Crook, who was my next
Mm-hmm.
door neighbor, was an
Mm-hmm.
extraordinary man. He
Mm-hmm.
was he worked hard. He took care of his family.
Mm-hmm.
He adopted me as a son. He grafted me into his family as a son. I
Mm-hmm.
have three other brothers that live next door to me because of him.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, who's gone, who's deceased now. Ken and Carl
Carl.
Crook. All
Carl
of these
Crook.
guys were
Mm-hmm.
my brothers. They were not my neighbors. They were my brothers. They
Okay.
protected me. They taught me how to change the tire on my bike. They taught me how to ride a motorcycle. They taught me how to fight. They taught me
Mm-hmm.
how to be tough. They taught me how to work hard. They
Mm-hmm.
taught me those ground fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had these brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and Mr. Crook, who was my father. I actually helped eulogize him as well when Mr.
Okay.
Crook passed, and his wife, my like a mother to me, Mary, Miss Mary
Mm-hmm.
Crook. And so then there was just a sea of Black men, and this is an interesting question that you present today, because as I continue to hear the narrative about Black men, I don't identify with that narrative. I
Mm-hmm.
don't I don't know Black men who don't take care of their families. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know Black men that don't take care of their children and work hard. I don't know them.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear this constant conversation around um, black men who, the negative things I hear about black men. It's like talking about Bigfoot to me. I
Mhm.
hear about it, but I've never seen
Right.
it.
Never seen it. Right.
I've
Exactly.
never, like the Loch Ness monster. I'm like,
Hmm.
well, yeah, I heard about it, but I've never
Never
seen it.
seen it. Hmm.
Because I was always surrounded around great black men. And
Hmm.
I'm still surrounded by great black men. I'm actually on a podcast with a great black man right
Watch
now.
out now, man. May God make
That's
me
an
better than how you
extraordinary.
see me, brother. I
Come
mean,
on, man. You are an extraordinary example of resilience and brilliance and strength and blackness, brother. You are the embodiment of that. Your
mhm,
story is an amazing story
mhm,
of who you can be and what you can be and how you use the
mhm.
challenges that you have had and overcome those challenges to remain great. You are
Mhm.
that rose that
Man,
grew between the concrete. You're that guy, man.
well, I
And so when
appreciate
you
it.
say how, what black men influenced me, you influenced, you
Well,
know.
man, I wasn't expecting that one. I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah,
And
you're that guy, man.
the fortunate thing, and unfortunate thing for our listeners, and the fortunate thing for you, we got to know each other when we weren't so-called. We were in training and grooming to be the men we are today. You know what I mean? And we took various different our paths were taking different routes to get back to this point right here,
Yes,
right? And
yes.
so that's a beautiful thing in itself, man. Because I won't tell you no lie. I would say this, and I'm gonna give you to that last one. We're gonna work into this interview. We have met for my listeners. He and I had kind of reconnected back when Facebook was kind of having its day,
Mhm.
right? And we had hooked up with Facebook, but then I hadn't seen him, still hadn't seen him in some years, over 20 some years, almost 30 years, right?
Mhm.
It's about 20 years, maybe about 20 years,
About
right?
20 years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, and I had heard about him because I had another brother who used to come in, Sadiq Mayoon. May Allah may Allah grant him mercy because he's deceased now. And
Mhm.
so, he had told me about you when you was at the bank because I think
Mhm.
you helped him get his house,
Mhm.
right? And so he had told me about you. Then I said, "Yeah, man. I said, man, I know Tarnace. Man, me and Tarnace grew up together. You know what I mean?" And so, but then I was going to program at the Clayton Transitional Center, and he was been bringing somebody some clothes down there, right? And we bumped into each other at the center, right? Of all places in a prison, right? We bumped into each other. And I was telling him I was doing the class down here. And I asked him then immediately, man, could you speak to my class for their graduation? And without a question, without a doubt, without talking about, let me check my calendar and all this old type of stuff here, man. He said, sure, I would gladly be here to do this, right? And anytime I have asked him to speak at the same graduation or at other graduations, he's been able to do that. And that's when I say, when we have people that we can call upon and say, hey, and I even call them for advice. Hey, man, tell me what you think about this. Tell me what you think about that, to give me sound advice. Because I have a small pool of people that I rely on. He's one of them, and so I just want you, and it is not, man. Because sometimes, and I tell them, getting down with them niggas and da 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 da. You know, I I don't have that, as you say. I don't have that in my life. I have real men who I'm able to talk to, who can call on me, and I can call on them.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and so I really appreciate you, Tarnice. This is the last one. We're going to jump into this podcast after this. What do you see the state of Black manhood today? And then I want to really kind of, with that overall view, then I'm going to push into an area of your expertise. You have many, right? But I want to talk about finances.
So I'm going to try to tackle the first question around the state of black men. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to probably shock most of the listeners by what I'm about to say. I see the state of black men in a very, very, very positive place. I see Black men. Um, let me first say, I'm proud as hell of my Black brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm proud, man. I'm super proud. Um, I am extraordinarily thankful to be able to see the resilience of our brothers, given
Mm-hmm.
all of the different things that we encounter from a day-to-day basis that we don't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we don't talk about we. I don't the men I know, and I know thousands upon thousands of men,
Mm-hmm.
and I have these conversations that you and I are having right now all the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Never do I encounter conversations with my brothers where they complain about their role and complain about being fathers, and they don't complain about the difficulty a lot. They talk about how difficult it is being who we are,
The
but they
struggle,
don't
the
complain.
struggle.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
struggle. We
Mm-hmm.
all know the struggle,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't complain about it. These brothers are extraordinary examples of resilience. Let's talk about facts.
Mm-hmm.
The CDC, the Center for Disease
Control.
Control,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
has come out with some statistics that when they did studies on the best fathers, and the best fathers across all cultures. Okay, Black,
Mm-hmm.
white, Latino, brown, whomever. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Black men are number one.
Hmm.
Black men are number one.
Yeah, I was say that again for
Let
the
me,
people in the
and
back.
this, yeah, they're number one.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to it contradicts the narrative that you keep hearing about Black men not being stepping up, being
Right.
fathers, this, that, and the third. Let me tell you something. The narrative is just not true, and
Right.
the data doesn't support it either.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's just what it is. The data doesn't support that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now um, I believe that we need to do a better job as Black men understanding our Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because something has happened to both of us. Something has happened to us as men, and something has happened to us as women. There
Mm-hmm.
are periods of our American history. Of course, our history stems beyond and goes beyond just American borders. But
Mm-hmm.
I want to speak specifically to our our Western brothers and sisters. Um, what we have experienced here in this Western civilization has been traumatic, and it's been traumatic to both Black men and Black women. And we need to acknowledge that. This is not the time to beat up on one another. This is not the
Mm-hmm.
time to separate from one another. But when I continue to teach the Bible, it talks about we have to use wisdom and understanding, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to understand one another. We have to take the time to listen to one another and
Mm-hmm.
understand each other's challenges and not demonize each other because of them,
Mm-hmm.
but to be more sympathetic and to have more reason around what has happened to us and how do we learn how to heal from those particular matters so that we
Mm-hmm.
can be healthy and continue to strive toward hope,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would say to around the brothers, I'm super excited about our resilience. I'm super
Mm-hmm.
excited about us being fathers. But let me tell you what I'm not excited about. I'm not excited about our economic mobility.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not excited about our financial literacy.
Okay.
If we're going to be heads of our households, we got to be better at understanding how to drive economically and
Mm-hmm.
how to be more financially mobile,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And how we manage our finances. There's way too much money that flows through the Black community that we are not harnessing, and we're not creating better opportunities for creating new industries, new jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to hire our people from our community and train them and do the same things that you and I saw model in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Black men that would take you to the side and teach you how to work on a car. We saw
Mm-hmm.
Black men that would teach you and show you how to learn mechanics and how to do
Mm-hmm.
things mechanically. We taught
Mm-hmm.
we had black men. I had black men, and we had black men that would teach you how to fix a leaky a faucet or a leaky
Mm-hmm.
elbow in your
And your
home,
kid.
and
Mm-hmm.
things from leaking in your home. We knew how to put on a new roof. We've actually walked away from the greatest industry that still remains, which is the skills trades.
Mm-hmm.
We've walked away from it, trying to be, and I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty. Can I be transparent?
Sure. Sure. For sure.
I walked away from it. My father owned a janitorial business.
Mm-hmm.
And had I taken that janitorial business and built upon what my father had laid for me, I probably would be much well off than I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I'm not mad that I learned the skills that I learned, because being a financially astute as I am, came from my training and my experience.
Okay.
But if I could have melded that together with the business that my father left for me and my brother, we would be multi, not only millionaires, but we could also have made other millionaires as well. And I think that's the measure of of black male existence, is not how many of us can get the bag, but how
Right.
many of us can help others get to the bag as well.
Right. Right. I think I heard a line Jay-Z said one time. It says it's about the people hey, you have who help you get success around you, not how successful you become, but how many people you make successful around you.
Yes.
Right. And so, and I'm hearing that's what you're saying. It's like we have gotten caught up in the individualized or the individual thinking that we're just now really focusing on ourselves, possibly our family, but no connection to anyone else in order, as I say, the tide raise all the boats, right? We just want our boat to raise and not think about somebody else's boat.
That's correct. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Hmm. And so, from your understanding of getting there, how we got there, what are some of the key things that keeps us there?
Man, I would say probably the chief. I would say that one of the principal things that have kept us from that's kept us in that state, that catatonic state, has really been our self-hate. We're going to have to heal from what happened to us.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to heal from that, and we're going to have to get back to loving each other, and not understanding. One of the things that has really plagued our black community is understanding the difference between competition and completion.
Okay, explain
we
that.
spend we spend more time feeling it, identifying each other as competition
Mm-hmm.
versus being completers. We are I'm here to complete you, not compete with you. The only person that I'm competing with is the person that's looking back at me at this camera right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm my own competition. That's the only
Mm-hmm.
competition I have, is how do I continue to make myself better? How do I make myself more available to someone else to help them become better? And until I have mastered those things, then I'm not competition to anybody else. I'm only
Mm-hmm.
competition to myself. But I am someone that can help complete you. Just right now, you reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you be on this show today?" And
Mm-hmm.
I had 1,000 other things to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand my key role is, number one, is how do I help my brother be more successful?
Mm-hmm.
This is important. This is important to you, and it also became important to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, because we are not, we're so internal in terms of how we see ourselves. We don't see ourselves as connectors. We
Right.
don't see ourselves as a link to a chain.
Right.
We don't understand how we.
The prioritization isn't about the connection. The prioritization is about individual success.
Yes. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not about individual success. It's
Mm-hmm.
about how do I improve myself individually to be a success for my community. right? How do I become a commodity in my community where I grow my community economically, I grow my community culturally, I grow my community through my faith, I grow my community through being self-policed, right? I don't need the police or other governance to keep me in a box, but I'm able to live out my life without having to be policed because I'm going to love my brother. I'm gonna love my sister. I'm gonna love my brother's children as my children. I'm going to be a good example to the people in my community where I can be a pillar in my community. I can be a resource to my community. You said it. Hey, when you pick up the phone and call me and you have something that you need to ask me financially, what have I ever not answered your call?
Oh, I always 100% answer. I
Always answer.
always answer, always answer, always answer. And
And
that
always, if I don't know the answer, I'm going to lead you to someone that
what he
does.
does exactly,
That's
exactly.
that's what I believe lacks in our community. We lack that. It's about a me for me. It's a I, me, and mine. And we have to understand there's a we. We are only better when we have strengthened the
Mm,
weakest link in our chain. And
mm,
so it is important and imperative for us to understand how we show up for each other.
mm-hmm,
How do we become solution oriented for our neighbor?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
How do we why do we work so hard, and why do we educate ourselves in the way? It's not for me to just know, it's for me to know so I can share with others.
right, right. Because I know that having a PhD, it wasn't my objective. My objective is to help teach these people. If I had this PhD, I know that you would then give me the ear.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? But that wasn't my go-to because, oh, look at me, I got a doctorate. No, I
Yes.
know, I needed that so you can pay attention. You
Yes.
know what I mean? But then I'm
Credibility. Yeah, you have the credibility and the character, and
mhm,
you have the content for people
mhm,
to say, I want to listen to this guy. You
mhm,
know, and that's important. I think that's also important, for our sisters as well, is that,
mhm,
I often talk when I'm counseling, couples.
mhm,
I have to talk to my beloved sisters at times who say,
mhm.
he just doesn't listen to me. He doesn't listen to me. And
Yeah.
uh and,
But you
and,
hear
and
that,
I
boy,
have to,
that's the plague across the board there, man. Don't care what
yeah.
religion. Well, the woman gonna say, he don't listen. Heck, I
But
done
this
been
is the
told that.
but here's the question that I always ask. What are
Mhm.
you giving him to listen to?
Mm.
Okay, have you created enough content and credibility and character in what you say that requires him to listen to you?
Content, credibility, and character. Okay.
Follow what I mean here? Is
Yes.
because
Yes.
you can say a lot of things, but if what you're saying does not have the character and the content to perform,
Hmm.
then I'm not going to listen to you.
Right.
You have to earn the space, just like you said. I got this PhD for people to listen to me. You've done the work. You
Hmm.
have the credibility and the character and the content. Now people want to hear what you got to say.
Hmm.
But I don't want to just hear a bunch of rhetoric. I
Right.
don't want to just hear a bunch of babbling and unreasonable and irrational conversation. I don't have the space for that.
Hmm.
And most men, black, white, doesn't matter. Most men are not going to listen to that. They know
Hmm.
when there's something that has good content and good character and is
Character.
going to perform. People know that. All right. And when
Hmm.
we know that, then we'll listen to that. When my wife talks to me, and she talks to me from experience, and she talks to me from a place of credibility, and where it has bear great fruit from what she's telling me, you
Hmm.
can best believe I'm all ears.
Right. 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 And
Does
then
that make sense?
that makes a lot of sense. And then, because I know a lot of men, as we still, and I want our listeners to know that we're still in this financial piece. But I think the build towards finances, there are some intangible things that really need to take place, right? Because anybody can go out and get money. Drug dealers go out and get money, but if they don't have some of these intangibles, one is unlawful.
Yes.
So that's one thing. You're already in the bad, wrong, in the wrong direction anyway, because it's illegal. But when we started talking about somebody having the moral compass, and we started talking about someone who is have the capacity, of being capable, having the skill, matching that skill with the alignment, the values, the congruency, the value, and being consistent in how you show up, not showing up as a person who is, and most men kind of fall into this when it comes to dealing with their women a lot of times, unfortunately. It's the critique mechanism that really throws them off, because the critique doesn't come as a course correct. It comes out as a put down a lot of times. We don't have the empathy to really show how to get a person or show a person how to move in that direction. And then we all sit there and look at, why I'm gonna listen to you, because you ain't doing nothing. Why I'm gonna listen to you for?
Exactly.
Right. And so then when we start talking about money, how you gonna tell me to save money when I just seen you go out here and buy these pair of Louis Vuitton shoes or this
Mm-hmm.
Louis Vuitton bag? Or I just seen you go out here and buy a Bentley. You live in Kirkwood. Why you got a Bentley? And I'm exaggerating a little bit, people.
Yeah.
Kirkwood used to be a pretty bad neighborhood in the Atlanta area once upon a time. They gentrified it now, but
Yes.
but you know the idea that someone trying to tell me how to be financial literate when you not even showing that financial literacy yourself. How do we then get out of our own way to be able to do something different? Because I've been able to see you now. Okay, I got your business out there. You get to tell your business. But as you say, I probably could hold a lot better if I just take what I know and put that into my dad's business. I probably could have met millionaires and had millionaires over, a span of millionaires, right? There could have been a lot of things that took place. But you also had a mindset on how to deal with money, right? How do we then get out of our way to learn how to become financially literate?
You know, that's a really loaded question, and it's going to require some unpacking, man, because
Okay.
there's not a one way to do this, because it's
Right.
each individual. Okay, I'm gonna give you a conversation that I actually had a chance to be a part of,
Okay.
and it transformed my life years ago. So, I have been in real estate, commercial and residential real estate, the majority of my career. And there was he's a well known well-known commercial real estate brother. And commercial real estate has been dominated by white men pretty
Hmm.
much, right?
Hmm.
Even to
Hmm.
today, it's still dominated by white men.
Hmm.
So this brother, great friend of mine and commercial real estate guru, was working with a Jewish brother in a commercial real estate deal,
Hmm.
and they were buying property for a big um, international retailer. I'm just going to put it like that.
Hmm.
And they were identifying commercial properties for this next retail juggernaut. And when they actually um, acquired a piece of land for their client, the Jewish guy says to him, he says, "Hey man, this will be our last deal that we're going to do together." And the brother looked at him. He said, "Why? What's going on? What happened here?" He said, "Oh no, it's nothing wrong. Nothing happened." He said, "But you're not Jewish."
Mm.
And so the brother said immediately when he heard that, his face got hot. He said, he said, "My face started getting hot and I started getting angry." And the Jewish brother told him, he said, "Listen, man," he said, "there is gold in your neighborhood. Go get it." That's what he told him. So I answer your question by saying this. We're going to, as a people, we're going to have to change our perspective. Our perspective has been jaded and colored by someone else's ideals and the way they see us.
Mm-hmm.
Until we learn how to see ourselves as valuable, until we start to look at the opportunities that always exist in our communities,
Mm-hmm.
then we're never going to get to the the economic and financial capabilities that we so deserve. Because that requires, again, self-healing. I've always worked in underserved communities, always.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been able to identify opportunities and wealth in our communities, but it is almost impossible to get other people to see it that way.
Mm-hmm.
We always want the brand new shiny something. We want to go to the communities where everything is already built out. And I believe God has put us in a place for us to be able to see our communities the same way that other people see it. We just don't see it this way. I'll give you another example. And you're familiar with this in Cairo, Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
There is a community on in the outskirts of Cairo called Garbage City. Are you familiar with it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Garbage City. So Garbage City was created by the gentrifiers that came in Cairo and pushed the people of color. They pushed them out of Cairo into this place called Garbage City. This is the place where they dumped all of the garbage. That's why they called it Garbage City. And when they came back, a few decades later, Garbage City became one of the most economically mobile and created the most upper middle class and wealthy people in Garbage City. Let me tell
Mm-hmm.
you why. The people didn't see the garbage as garbage. People saw the garbage as an enterprise. So they took the garbage and started creating recycling plants and repurposing the garbage
Mm-hmm.
and created economics out of that,
Mm-hmm.
and then became some of the most wealthy and economically mobile people in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
What if we did the same thing? Places where they thought it was garbage and we
Mm-hmm.
turned the garbage into treasures.
Mm-hmm.
What if we were able to see ourselves as the brilliant people that we are,
Mm-hmm.
the most creative people that we are, with the most ingenuity, with the
Mm-hmm.
with the with the most skills? What if we took our communities and saw it that way and transformed our own communities without us having to go and beg the government to do it, without us having to go beg somebody to come save us? We don't need to be saved. We just need to be transformed in our minds.
Mm-hmm.
And once we become more transformed in our minds, I believe everywhere God allows our feet to trod, we'll find treasures there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I believe. I believe once we heal, that's why I keep going back to this healing.
Mm-hmm.
Once we go back and really deal with our traumas and deal with the things that have happened to us. And these are real things that have happened to us. I am not disregarding any of these things, but I'm saying that we don't have to become subject to those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an intern, and I'll give you another one, then I'll be quiet. Um, I had an intern last year, a couple of years ago, from
Mm-hmm.
from South Korea, and we
Okay.
know what happened to the South Koreans and
Mm-hmm.
and the like. And this young lady told me she went to Georgia Tech and she interned for me, and she said South Koreans came together as South Koreans, and we took the tragedy that took place in the war, and
Mm-hmm.
we flipped it and turned it into an economic enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
I think we spend entirely too long as Black people, especially Black men, wallowing and relishing in our traumas. We got to work through those traumas. We got to heal from those traumas and still know that all things work together for the good of those who love God and
Mm-hmm.
called according to his purpose. I still believe that. I'm an example of that. And so are you.
Mm-hmm.
You are the epitome of a person that took lemons and made lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Wow.
believe we can create lemonade out of our situation.
Right, and it's not ironic. It's it's really phenomenal. Last night we was at the graduation ceremony at the Women's Transition Center, Metro
Hmm.
Transition Center, and one of the administrators for the organization, she's actually sells real estate as well, and her and my wife was having a conversation about how she said she has one lady who's trying to buy a house. She had two brand new built houses to choose from. Nobody's ever stayed in it before, and she can't make up her mind, right? And she's like, she wants everything just perfect, just right off the rip, not knowing that this is her house. She can make this house any way she chooses to. But she wanted already there. So I don't think she got to walk in. And we do that. We want to move in their communities because they got the good schools there.
Yeah.
But you don't want to go to your school, be a part of the PTA meeting, or go to the school board and demand certain things, or rally up some people to go to these school boards. You don't even know who to vote for on these school boards, right? Yeah, that's a part of the financial conversation as well.
Yes.
Because if you're not going in and knowing what's happening in your community, you keep worrying about putting money in your pocket, but you're not worried about the long-term effect of the money, because you're going to get that money in your pocket. You get your check and you went and spent it. You done paid some bills, and then you done went and spent it. You done went
Yeah.
out, you done did this, you done that, you gone on excursions, you did everything that you possibly wanted to do. But then you're not really, you worried about, because you talk about crime, this, black folks this. Because really the only thing you got is black hate going on, talking about crime and all this. Real talk. There's a lot of people who live in what we consider low income areas who are not victims of a crime.
That's right.
There's a lot of people who are not victims of a crime. I remember the projects that I used to live in. You know, I know a lot of people who live in the projects ain't never seen, they see the crime, but the crime was never perpetrated on them. They see the crime, but I'm saying, if we don't do something, my thought is, what I'm hearing you say, if we quit trying to do this black flight, right? This is a whole black fight. We flying out to these other folks' neighborhood. We want to be up there in Sandy Springs. We want to be out here in Alpharetta, or you want to be somewhere, but they really don't want your behind there in the first damn place.
No.
You know
And it's traumatic to our children.
exactly.
It's very traumatic to continue to try to assimilate to a people that don't accept them.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to continue to do that to our children. We're better than that now. We can create our own schools, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
um, Understand that there's opportunities for charter schools where you can
Mm-hmm.
charter your own school and come up with your own curriculum. why
Mm-hmm.
aren't we why aren't we pushing more for our schools to be entrepreneurial
No, shut. Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurial cohorts,
Mm-hmm.
and with the entrepreneurial pedagogy,
Mm-hmm.
right? We
Mm-hmm.
need. Why aren't we not pushing for that? Okay, why aren't we saying, I want my school to teach this stuff? I
Mm-hmm.
want my child to be the next CEO, or I want my child to be the next, Steve Jobs
Of,
or
of
Robert
his own
Johnson
company, of their own company, of
of
his
their
own.
own company.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we do that? There's all types of ways. And the good news is that as much as we complain about the Gen X and Gen Zs, I'm sorry, Gen Ys and Gen Zs, millennials and Gen Zs,
Mm-hmm.
they actually have the right entrepreneurial spirit. It's
Mm-hmm.
just not being coached the right way.
Right, it's not guided the correct way.
That's
Exactly,
correct.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. Because they definitely understand work life balance.
Yes. Yes.
They definitely understand work life balance. Oh, that was the funny laugh on my end, but they but we haven't taught them the understanding of, okay, true work and how to manage that money
Yes.
right. You know what
That's
I mean?
exactly right. And to be again community focused. to
Mm-hmm.
understand it's not just about you getting the bag, but how do you leverage that bag to create economy for every single person that you're connected to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll go back to an example that I was absolutely blown away by this, and it was Gucci Mane, the rapper Gucci Mane. Now
Mm-hmm.
we kind of know the story around Gucci Mane. He
Mm-hmm.
had to go away for a few years to
Mm-hmm.
prison for some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and but this is what I love about Gucci Mane's story.
Mm-hmm.
It was the woman that he selected to be beside him.
Mm-hmm.
Keisha Kaor took that money. And remember, I think he gave her a few $1,000,000
Mm-hmm.
to hold for him while he was away. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When he came back, she had double, almost tripled that money when he came back.
Hmm.
That she'd almost doubled. That's the kind of, remember we talking about completion.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of completion that you need. We got to stop looking at all of these relationships as more external and understand the internal value of the
Right.
person.
And transactional. Right. He has to
Absolutely,
something. Mm-hmm.
absolutely. To understand the vision for the family, understand, okay, here's where we're going. How do you help me get there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then I bet you Keisha Kaor is not hearing Gucci Mane saying he don't listen to me. I bet you she don't say that.
But not at all.
You know
Not
why?
at all.
Because she's got the character, she's
Mm-hmm.
got the content, she has the consistency,
Mm-hmm.
she has the proof that when she says something and she has the wherewithal to do something, she can do it. So when she sits down and say, "Hey, babe, I need to talk to you," I bet you any amount of good money that he's listening to her.
Mm-hmm.
That's the example that I was talking about. We don't want to hear all this rhetoric. We don't
Right.
want to hear all the pontification. I don't want to hear that. I want to
Mm-hmm.
hear proof positive. Show me what you've done. Show me the character and the content. Give me
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that you can show and you can point to me that it has produced fruit.
Right.
And if it has produced fruit, I'm listening.
Right. Connect these dots. Connect these
Yes,
dots. Connect these.
yes,
If you can't connect these
yes,
dots, you don't need to be talking to me.
yes.
Because
Go do your homework.
exactly. Quit talking and go do some work. Come back and holler at me and make this thing happen. You
Yes,
know, that
yes,
that's a good part, Tarnace. I really appreciate that part there, man, because I think we have gotten so caught up in the gender wars and the gender talk and you ain't nothing, she ain't nothing rhetoric,
yes,
right?
yes,
And these people and really these are the fringe people. These are the people outside on the roughs off the golf course. They're in the rough. They're not the green lane.
yes, yes.
They're not they ain't the fairway. They the dunes on the outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The high grass. And but we give a lot of attention to this high grass. It baffles me sometimes, man. The stuff that as I scroll through TikToks and Instagrams and Facebooks and all this other type of stuff here, it amazes me the negativity that people are drawn towards, the viral messages that people get, the things that they make go viral, versus somebody
Yes,
saying, hey, if you do A, B, and C, right? And then make sure you got 1, 2, and 3 connected to that. This is how you possibly can make something happen. Those things have very low views unless they got some type of hell of a marketing scheme to it. Then makes it look like a gimmick. Then makes people don't want to trust it.
yes,
You try to make the truth look like a gimmick,
yes, yes,
and what I'm hearing you say, don't give me the gimmick, give me the truth. Give me the truth without no gimmick. And don't give me a whole bunch of non-truths and no gimmick either. I don't want none of that. I just want the truth and the truth. That's all I'm looking for. That's how we
and
can grow.
I'll say this, and I know we're about to wrap up here, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this, and because this show is dedicated to the brothers, and I
Mm-hmm.
got something I want to say to my brothers, man. First of
Yeah.
all, I'm gonna say it again. I love y'all, man. I am so proud of my brothers, man. You know, we've overcome a lot together.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say this as a challenge. I want to challenge my brothers to choose better.
Mm.
I want us to choose better. I want us to make better informed choices.
Mm-hmm.
Spend time getting educated on the things that you want. To your point, success is not a gimmick, brothers. It ain't a gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Success is a consistent um, effort, day after day after day, based on principles.
Mm-hmm.
It's based on
Values and principles and values, for sure.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
If it's outside the principles and values, don't waste your time with it. To include the woman that you choose to be on your side,
Mm-hmm.
you have to make better choices. We have to demonstrate the ability to make better choices. Stop it with all of this glamorized exterior stuff. That stuff is dead. We know it's dead. It has not been able to bear good fruit, and it continues to devalue the enterprise of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage is a God created enterprise for you to build wealth from.
Mm-hmm.
But it only works when we make good acquisitions and mergers,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You
You know,
have to make
oh my
good.
God, whoo,
You
you,
got to, if you're going to be in business, you got to know how to see the proper risk,
mm-hmm.
and you have to understand how to manage that risk. And you got to know two companies will not merge unless
Mm-hmm.
they are complementary to each
Each
other's.
other. Mm-hmm.
They got to be complementary.
Mm-hmm.
And we keep going out looking at the facade, and
Mm-hmm.
we're not doing the
And the persona,
evaluation of the
and we
content.
right, and we ain't went inside the building at all. We ain't looked around the building at all. We still outside looking at the outside of it. You know,
Look
ooh, it's
inside the
pretty.
building.
It's tall. Ooh, it's pretty. It's tall.
Look
You know,
inside the look
but
inside the building.
the building
Check,
raggedy. The
yeah,
building's
check the
raggedy.
infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's in everything that every decision that you make. You have to ask for the wisdom to be able to make good choices.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more good choices we make, the more fruitful we become.
Mm-hmm.
The more fruitful we become, then the more healthy we become.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we are able to then take more risk, calculated, educated risk,
Mm-hmm.
when we've
Informed.
learned how
Informed
to
risk.
make good choices.
Mm-hmm. Informed risk.
Informed risk,
Mm-hmm.
educated,
Risk. Mm-hmm.
informed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do your due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
Stop rushing into things.
Mm-hmm.
Take time to be around a Hassan and others who have education and understanding and wisdom, who can you can bounce things off of. Build you a better circle of men
Mm-hmm.
around you
Mm-hmm.
that can advise you. And don't make moves in silos. Don't
Mm-hmm.
make those kind of moves. Be
Mm-hmm.
informed and and understand when you're around the right kind of sisters. The right kind of sisters are brilliant. They will love you and tell you and coach you and show you some of the greatest skills I have right now were taught to me by black women.
Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure.
Abs-
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Absolutely yes.
For sure. For sure. You know.
My financial skills that I have, my wife and I met when we were bankers.
Mm-hmm.
One of my three female black women mentors
Mm-hmm.
taught me commercial real estate. They've taught me residential real estate and banking. Three black women taught me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can go to the two of those black women today. One of them has passed away. But
Mm-hmm.
two of those black women I can go to today and sit down and have an informed and educated conversation with content and
Mm-hmm.
character, right?
Mm-hmm.
And get good advice. So we have to be able to do that. I think we got to make better informed choices as men. And I think we'll start to see prosperity in our as black men in our black communities. And I truly believe, and I'll be finished with this, I believe then our women will trust us to lead them.
Mm-hmm.
We have to earn the trust to lead our Black women again, and that's based on our consistency
Mm-hmm.
and our and the results of our decisions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. And you know, with that, I really do appreciate what you're saying, man, because I ain't gonna tell you a lie. You just opened up 4 more questions. We would be here another hour. All right, easy.
Yeah,
Because the wheels went to running again. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's why I love this podcast, man, because it not only I hope it makes other people think, it definitely makes me think.
excellent.
And I get to be in the company of good men talking about manhood,
Yes,
something that we can't be afraid to do. We can't allow we can't allow someone to stifle our our blackness. It's not as I'm anti anybody else.
nope.
I'm just pro black. I'm pro me.
Say that
So
again.
I'm pro me. So I've
Yes,
got to be pro black because I'm black. I'm pro me
yeah,
and I'm pro man. You
yes,
see what I'm saying? And so, I'm not going to be in a position of being apologetic about being a black man. And I'm not going to allow, for years, in some degree, I allow their narrative to be my narrative. I don't have, I learned better. I was able to get, even in prison, I was able to get around some real men who try to teach me, don't allow their narrative to be your narrative. You can
that's
do
right.
something with your life. It
Yes,
doesn't have to be there. Yeah, you big. Yeah, your voice is a little rough, grumpy, loud. They're gonna always, because they stereotyped me one time. I give you this before we go. Boisterous. That's the word I used to say, boisterous. And so I was intimidating. That's another code for intimidating,
yes, yes.
right? That's all that is code for intimidating. And so then they want to treat me like I'm an intimidator, right? And so therefore, they start writing all type of silly stuff in your file and all this old type of foolishness there based upon their perception of you, not how you feel about yourself, even you trying to portray yourself, but just simply because this is who they are. Then get mad at you when you decide to stand on business. You standing on your square. You ain't gonna allow him to be moved. Oh, he's aggressive, right? They keep labeling the black men these things, and sometimes we fall into the narrative, or we run so hard away from the narrative, man. Brother name is, you know, Tarnace. They're gonna call him Tom. Change your whole damn name,
Yes, sir.
and you would accept it.
Yeah.
Not me, and not at the Get Made podcast. I know I went to pontificating for a second there. Don't get
All
it
right.
wrong. Don't get me wrong. This is passion. Don't get that wrong. This is passion. And so, Tarnace, tell us how they can, because you got some things you're doing in the bankhead community too, as well. You still doing some initiatives over there? Tell
Yeah,
people
man.
how they can see me
Uh,
run into you.
Yeah, I'm working over here in our community development center at Paradise Community Development Center, and I work all throughout the city. I've been blessed to be able to create a lot of black millionaires in this city through work, and so yes, we're doing a lot of great things over here, man. And for anyone who would like to follow me, I'm on LinkedIn, Tarnace Watkins. You're able to find me there. Also, I'm on. Let's see. I'm on Twitter at st Watkins. No, at st Watkins 24. Also on Instagram, Facebook. I'm there. I'm easy to find. You can Google me. I'm easy to find. Yeah, but I'm indeed grateful for this opportunity to to share today. I pray that what we have discussed today has blessed the brother and the sisters as
And
well.
sisters,
But
because I got a lot of sisters who watch the podcast. So,
absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely, and I want to say this to my sisters is that we love y'all. Despite what you hear, we love you. I'm married to a Black woman. I got a Black daughter. My mama's Black. My